Now, let's move past the religion thing a little bit. When we talk about the so-called liberal media, when you think about the amount of coverage that the Tea Party got, not negative coverage, positive coverage, do you think that the media overall is really liberal? I mean, wouldn't the Tea Party movement have been swept under the rug if that were the case?
Oh, I don't know what media you're reading, but I did not see a lot of positive Tea Party coverage coming out of the liberal media. And in fact, sweeping it under the rug has become a constant job of the liberal media. I mean, you just this past week, I was reading story after story about some liberal pundit or editor or writer saying the Tea Party movement has come and gone. It's going to fade away.
Wait a second. Hold on a second.
This was happening since the advent of the Tea Party movement. It was being dismissed routinely by the liberal media, if not outright attacked as fringy and dangerous and racist and all of those other things.
Hold on a second. You know what? There was commentary to that effect, and we could go through all of the evidence that suggests some of those analyses were actually were warranted and were based in fact. But you're telling me that there was not enough coverage of the Tea Party to suggest that it was not being swept under the rug? I mean, we had months of claiming that there were millions of people at Tea Party protests that had thousands of people, or maybe tens of thousands. That's liberal media, SE?
Well, I'm not really sure what you're talking about. I did not read those at all. I know Fox was covering the Tea Party movement. I won't say honestly. I know that they were very excited about the Tea Party movement. But they were covering it, and as were the conservative outlets. The liberal outlets were completely dishonest and continue to be completely irresponsible on their coverage of the Tea Parties. In their defense, it's not an easy thing to cover. It's very hard to find objective truth in a phenomenon like this, but they're not doing a good job.
How do we live in the same universe where you believe that only conservative media was covering the Tea Party, and I couldn't turn on local news, regional news, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, the Hannity show, as well as the liberal radio shows? I could not get away from news about the Tea Party. How do you and I live in the same universe?
With you. I didn't say they weren't covering it. I said they weren't covering it objectively. Of course they were covering it. It was in their interest to cover it, but the way that they were covering it was, I thought, despicable, and I continue to think that.
So is part of your argument about what is and isn't covered in addition to how it's covered?
Oh, absolutely. And the book, and in Losing Our Religion, I'm not just talking about the way things are covered. I'm talking about what isn't covered, what stories aren't getting reported. I mean, it's not easy to do this kind of sweeping media analysis of a big issue like Christianity in American culture, without being nuanced about it. So I work really hard not to paint with broad strokes and not just, to just look at the hot button topics like abortion and gay marriage and evolution, but to look at the way that, say, conservative culture is reported on, conservative movies, conservative books, Christian product.
But isn't it possible that some stories are interesting and some are not? I mean, Christian product, do you want CNN to do a story about Christian products? I mean, to some extent, it's just what's interesting,
CNN
right?
CNN did do a story on Christian products.
There you go.
It's not that I want them to.
I must have missed it.
It's the way that they do it. It's the way that they cover Christian movies. It's the way that they cover Christian books like The Purpose-Driven Life or like C.S. Lewis. I mean, I'm not asking for them to cover them. I am telling you that they are covering them, and badly.
I feel like we must be, and it's funny, you're from Massachusetts, we're in Massachusetts, we literally must just be living in two different universes, because I'm just not seeing so many of the things that the book describes. I did read the book, which is Losing Our Religion by SE Cupp, and I enjoyed it as kind of a, let's see what is going to make it into this book, but I feel like we must just be living on different planets.
I'm not surprised. I mean, I think, no, really. I mean, I meet tons of reporters, tons of pundits, and, even within my, conservative media circle, we see things differently. I mean,
we certainly do.
I think politically and culturally, we're an incredibly ideologically diverse group of people, so that we are not looking at this issue the same way doesn't surprise me at all. I'm just hoping to point out some areas that I think are not being discussed. And if you've read the book, then whether you agree with my thesis or not, there is some evidence in there that is just irrefutable. And
well, I think what there is, I don't know if I'd irrefutable or cherry picked to create a certain narrative. We'll have to leave that discussion for the next time, but I do appreciate you calling in, SE.
My pleasure.
The book is Losing Our Religion, the Liberal Media's Attack on Christianity. Hope to talk to you again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take care. Bye.
Midweek Politics with Dave Pakman on midweekpolitics.com.
Midweek Politics is made possible in part by CSR Wire, the corporate social responsibility newswire at csrwire.com, by DIF Design, specializing in custom business websites at difdesign.com. To find out more about underwriting Midweek Politics, visit midweekpolitics.com.